can never find a decent person. It's like, but you need to work on you,
yourself,
work on everything. And if you become that person that has all of those brilliant characteristics, you will attract someone great. So the onus is on yourself to do the work. Instead of blaming other people, look at yourself, introspect, realize there's things that I can do to be a better human, to attract better humans. And guess what? You'll have a better relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the time, humans struggle to drop the ego and just constantly blame the other for the things that go wrong in their life. And it does take a bit of balls to drop the ego and say, I'm wrong and I can do better and there's things that I can work on. And that is one of the fundamental principles that we're talking about here. If you want to make your relationship better, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to say, I'm wrong. In every single argument that you have, we both know there's always a part that you can play where you can play it better.
Yeah. And that was going to be one of our points, actually, so we can just discuss that now, is that to have a deeper connection with your partner, you need to be able to drop the ego, because like Tris just said, in arguments, if you don't drop the ego, you're going to be constantly... I've actually been learning about this in my life coaching course. There's your ego defense mechanisms, which are from your childhood. It's how you've survived when you were age 0 to 4. Unfortunately, they're in your subconscious a lot of the time, and they are very deep rooted, so you will react subconsciously to things. But once you've reacted, at least pulling yourself back and being like, shit, I've just reacted like this, and apologising quick before it spirals. And I think like Tris and I, it's been like 2.5 years, and it's only been in the last like 6 months to a year where we've realised it is so much better to drop the ego and just say, this is what I'm sorry for. And normally the other person is like, yeah, I fucked up too, rather than just trying to make this battle of like, I'm right, because it's just not gonna go anywhere. And also it takes two to argue, it takes two to tango, one's triggered the other, whatever. You're both going to be wrong in some part. One might be slightly more wrong in an argument, but yeah, dropping the ego is really, really important in conflict situations. And a lot of people think arguing and conflict is bad, but someone once told me that conflict is growth wanting to happen, and I always remember that, and I think that's so true. Obviously it depends how you have conflict. If you're going to be beating each other up, that's not good. But if you can have a kind of heated argument that can be calmed down, drop your egos and talk about things, it's not a problem to have conflicts in your relationship at all. Like, it's just how you handle it. And that's one of the ways to do it, is dropping the ego, not getting defensive.
Yeah. The ego thing is so interesting, because so many arguments in life are people not being able to take criticism because they so desperately want to defend. So instead of an argument being instantly, what have I done wrong here? It's, I want to show this person that they've done wrong here. And it's this constant, it becomes less about the subject of what's going on and more about your ego wanting to win the argument. So you end up not even talking about the content, not even talking about where you can be better. It's just, I'm going to make this person see that they've done wrong, rather than I'm going to take responsibility for what I've done wrong. And if you can drop your ego enough, you can realise what you've done wrong sooner, and the conflict will stop sooner, and it will resolve sooner, and you won't be doing the same things in the future, because you'll be accountable and you'll be taking responsibility for the things that you have done wrong.
And also that links quite well to, if you become more self-aware of your trauma and where you're triggered, is once you drop the ego, you can also realise, oh, I've been triggered here, this has made me feel this way. And realising, I'll give an example to explain this, but realising that it's not always the other person that has made you feel that way. We are all responsible to how we feel. Like, another person can't make you feel something. You are feeling it. It's your choice to feel it. Obviously, if someone was punching you in the face, it is going to hurt. That's not really a choice if it's pain. But an example for me is in a long-term relationship I had when I was younger, so before I'd done any of this work. When I had arguments, I'd be like, it's him making me feel this way. So if we were having an argument, he wasn't being very nice, or not even being very nice, but say he was saying, oh, I can't think of an example, what do we even argue about? I don't know, but we were having an argument and I was feeling really shit and crying. It would always be, why are you making me feel? You're making me feel this way. And I would be in my head constantly like blaming him. It's all his fault for me feeling this pain. Now I've done the work. When Tris triggers me and I feel that, for me it's like an overwhelming kind of adrenaline rush, I realise that is my childhood wounding coming up, my trauma.
Well, that's a good way to pick up on it. Then.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
feel that adrenaline running through your body,
I
that's
always
a good
know
sign
it's mine.
that's your trauma.
Yeah, and then it's also realising, so what has happened there? Tris has triggered me. That stuff has come up. It's made me feel like shit, but it's not Tris has made me cry or whatever it is. It's triggered something in me to come up and to heal. Obviously, you can address it and say, "Oh, I don't really like it when you say those things. It comes across a bit hurtful." But most of the time, if you are intentional with each other and you're in a good relationship, you don't ever really want to hurt each other. And we always say this after arguments. I think you said to me the other day, "I never want to hurt you. I'm not going to say anything with the intention to hurt you. Like, you mustn't think that. I'm not going to do this action because I want to make you cry." But sometimes it can feel like that, and I'm the same with Tris. Like, I don't want to make him feel shit, but I might trigger him, and it makes your stuff come up and you feel shit. So being aware of that is so important, that it's not always the other person making you feel so bad. It's them triggering that stuff in you to come up to be healed.